What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I'm your host, Lady and the Chef, joined by my co host and mom.
Divalux 21. What's up, everybody?
Good afternoon. Saturday, day after the Knicks' second in season tournament game, where the Knicks played on the road against the Washington Wizards, um, which was actually a great game. The Knicks did get the win over the Washington Wizards, 99 to 120. Um, what did you think about that game?
Um, Another great game. It was another carryover from their previous win from the Hawks. So, like I was saying, when you win a game and you on the road and you could win consecutive games, it just boosts the morale and just it carries the momentum carries over from game to game. And again, it just I'm quite sure the locker room was like ecstatic. Everybody's is happy. So I- I'm happy with the win.
Yeah, I thought it was a great win. It was a must needed win for the season, the in season tournament, which is new this year for the NBA. I think a lot of people still don't know what it means, but we're just following along and hoping for the best.
Exactly.
But to me, before the game, and I think as far back as last Sunday when the Knicks played against Charlotte, we were saying how this is a must win for the Knicks because Washington is struggling. They've only won 2 games so far this season. They do not play defense. I think Washington and Detroit are damn near neck and neck at both of their styles of play. Detroit played Cleveland the other night and they allowed, what's his name? One of the bigs from Cleveland. He literally walked the ball up the court. Not one Detroit player. They all were on one side of the court and he just laid it up. And the
Which one
coach,
who you referring to, Mobley or Allen?
Mobley,
Yeah.
Mobley, and the coach, the Detroit coach, I'm sure he probably was like, "This is not happening." I mean, not one person went and challenged him. They all were like, I don't know what if they were looking at something because
Yeah.
it wasn't a confusing play where you thought, well, maybe a timeout was being called. It was just
Yeah.
no
They
one
just
was
had
paying attention.
no
There was
D.
no awareness, right? And when I saw that, I thought to myself, wow, the Knicks have come a long way because the Knicks used to be that team.
Oh,
The Knicks
yes.
used to be that team where they were getting booed in the garden because they would do things like that. That was like, how? You were a
Yeah.
fan watching at home, like, well, how does one let
Yeah.
one player just not even contest a shot? But when the Knicks played last night against Washington, Washington just didn't play great defense. They let Jalen Brunson do whatever he wanted. They didn't contest any of his shots. A lot of
Yeah.
his threes were wide open threes. They weren't a challenge, and this is why I said that the Knicks should have won that game because if you're playing against a team that's struggling, you don't want to sleep on that team. And a lot of times the Knicks will get that lead, like we've discussed, by 20, 25 points, sometimes even 30. And the Knicks will kind of get lax, like, oh, we got this, we'll win. And next thing you know, at the fourth quarter, you're like, because even at one point last night, in the third quarter, Washington got it down to 5.
5.
They were only down
Yep.
by 5 points, and I remember I was like, "Whoa," after we ended the podcast, I said, "Well, what the heck is happening?" I said, "How are the Knicks allowing it?" Because I think they were up by, like, 13, 14 when we ended the podcast, and I'm watching the game, listening to the game, I'm like, "Well, how did Washington only got it down to 5?" Because at one point, Kyle Kuzma ran on a run. He got
Yeah,
into the
yeah.
game and brought them back in it, so I didn't like that, but I like that Jalen Brunson was aggressive. He carried the team on his back. I thought, Quickly did a great job of being aggressive, and, you know, didn't settle for the 3. He was driving to the basket a lot, and I also thought Julius Randle did a great job of using his body, using his
Yeah.
strength, getting the shots that he wanted. I thought that was a nice game played by him. It wasn't sloppy. I thought overall
Mhm.
other guys contributed. I thought DiVincenzo was great to come in
Yeah.
for the game for us. He contributed a lot for us. So I liked what I saw, overall from the Knicks. I thought that that was a must needed win. The Knicks are now sitting at 7-5. They are, I believe, in the seventh spot. Yeah, yeah, we slipped down to the seventh because someone else must have
Yeah.
won. Not sure who. But Julius Randle played 35 minutes, had 22 points. Josh Hart played 32 minutes, had 9 points and 5 rebounds. I just wanted to go back to Julius. He did have 7 rebounds, 8 assists.
8 assists, yep.
Josh Hart played 32 minutes. He had 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Mitchell Robinson played 27 minutes. He had 6 points, 8 rebounds. Jalen Brunson played 34 minutes. He had 32 points, both 7 rebounds and 7 assists. DiVincenzo played 25 minutes. He had 14 points, 4 rebounds for us. Quickly played 33 minutes. He had 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. Isaiah Hartenstein had played 20 minutes. He had 8 rebounds for us and 3 points. Evan Fournier, which was a surprise for me to even see
Oh,
him in a game. He played 16 minutes. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 2 points. Miles McBride actually got a lot more minutes because the Knicks played so well. So he played 14 minutes, had 5 points, and 1 rebound. And then Daquan Jeffries played 2 minutes, and then that was it. But I mean, what do you think seeing Fournier in the game? Because I remember you called me and was like, Fournier's playing, and I was like, what? I mean, do you think Fournier got burned because both RJ and Grimes was out? So Tibbs, and because the Knicks had a nice commanding lead, like what made Tibbs? Because the Knicks have had games so far this season where we've been up with plenty of
oh, yeah.
time left, and Tibbs had enough opportunity to put the third, fourth string guys in. So why this game did Tibbs decide to put Fournier in?
It could be maybe because our roster was kinda, the rotation depleted, although it was like that before, but I think that was partly a big reason why he played Fournier. Other than that, I don't think he would have played them. I mean, because hypothetically, I remember I mentioned it, on one of our previous podcasts, how it was his birthday. He couldn't even get any posts, and it was garbage time. Everybody got in except him. So that would have been like a nice, post birthday gift for him to play, the next day, and he didn't play him then. So I don't know what is different then as opposed to now, other than our rotation and but it was nice to see him play. To get in. He's like any other athlete. You want to compete and play, you know? So it was nice. I wish he would have, but I guess it's his first, action on the court since the season. So I guess, you can't expect for him to go out there and do much, and it could have been nerves, jitters, anything. But it was overall, I was happy he got some minutes.
My take on it is a little different as far as what you was leading up to just now. I felt like Fournier, I watched him a lot while he played, and I saw a lot of this,
Yeah, I see that.
standing in the corner doing that. Why are you doing that? If you
Mm,
really a true Knicks fan, you've noticed that a lot of our guys have stopped doing that standing around crap and waiting for somebody to pass them the ball. Seriously, a lot of the guys have stopped doing that because I think the Knicks players have learned to move without the ball a lot better. And
mm,
the old
mhm.
toxic, terrible Knicks guys were standing around doing this, waiting for somebody to feed them the ball. And
Yeah.
when you stand around and do that, you're not gonna be successful. You're not gonna score. And I think it made me think of when I asked you, why do you think with Grimes, his game hasn't gone to the next level and with his teammates not passing him the ball, why do you think that that is? And I think
Mhm,
with Grimes, it's a combination of his shot. He's not hitting his shot consistently, unlike Dante DiVincenzo, who we know. I'm a lot more confident with him banking down the mid-range, and he had a nice poster last night. He slam dunked that ball like he's tall, like he's as tall as Mitchell Robinson, came in with authority, and you will not see that from Quentin Grimes. You may
Yeah.
get a nice dunk here and but you're not gonna see, I mean, with authority, he threw it down with power. Randall had a nice poster too. I mean, that was a really nice game. The guys were aggressive last night. But I think that with Fournier, I get what you're saying. He hasn't played in a while, so he's not in the rhythm. But here's my thing: you have to stay ready. Miles McBride doesn't get a lot of minutes, but guess what? Like
He's
Queen always says, when Miles get in, he's gonna come in and chuck up a shot right away because he know I gotta put up some points. And
yeah,
I don't even think it's just to get points. I think it's to show like I worked on my shot. I can make shots. He does. His shot does look better this season. He's
yeah.
also still playing hard on the defensive end. But with Fournier, I think one of my biggest issues with Evan Fournier is his defense. He plays defense almost like as if he's afraid to get hurt.
Mm,
It's like it's not a good defensive effort from him because he's playing like I don't know, like he don't want somebody to make him tweak his ankle or knock him down to, and then he gonna fall and maybe fall the wrong way down or tweak his knee or something. He plays. I really don't care for his defense and the way he plays defense. And I remember Queen was saying, but when Evan was starting, the Knicks defensively were a better team. And I hear that, but I'm saying, well, was it really because Evan Fournier was on the floor? Because I've seen where times where he has done a nice job where he's poked the ball out of a guy's hands
mhm.
and, went around him and got the ball and got a nice layup. I've seen him do that occasionally on plays. But I think with Fournier, just because you haven't played, and I'm very harsh on a lot of things that I say on this podcast with the Knicks because as a tired Knicks fan, I don't have time for the BS. If you're a true Knicks fan, you don't have time for the BS. We waited long enough where it's like enough is enough. Clean up your act. I don't want any more excuses. I don't want to hear blaming Dolan. I don't want to hear blaming this. We know that the front office still has a lot of work to do. We know that the teams have a lot of work to do, and the guys that we have to work with. But if you're a player, again, and I compare it to Miles McBride, he doesn't play every game, but when he gets in that game, whether it's a
Excuse me.
minute, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, he's ready to play.
He
Evan
makes the
Fournier
most.
needs to be ready to play. You
Yeah,
need to play hard in practice and be ready for when Tibbs, even if Tibbs don't play you another 5 games, be ready for that sixth game when he finally
yeah.
decides to put you back in.
When
And
your
prove
number
that I can be in that game and now he can start putting me back in. We
yeah,
know you
yeah,
can shoot, but you have to do the other little things to be able
yeah,
to consistently get in the game. Because if not, Miles McBride is gonna get 14 minutes and not you.
yeah. Like that, mom just said, you gotta stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You
Exactly.
know, you gotta stay ready when your number is called and you never know when. Well, guess what? Be ready and ready to compete at a high level.
Level, exactly. Well said. At a high level. I don't wanna
Yeah.
see you coming in and doing this, and he did that.
Yeah, I
Seriously,
saw
don't
it.
come in and do that. Come running off the screens, and even if Tibbs isn't drawing up plays for you, be smart. You've been in the league long enough. You played Euro Bowl, you played in the NBA for several years. So you need to be able to figure out, okay, again, if DiVincenzo's able to come in and figure out his shot and get shots, again, he's doing it better than Grimes.
Oh, yep.
Then Fournier, you have to figure out how to do that. If you spending enough time on the bench, you should also be analyzing and studying the way your team is
Yeah.
playing, whether it's on at home or on the road, and watching how your team is playing and saying, okay, when I come in, this is what I can do. And I don't mean necessarily this is I'm a do this play. I'm talking about how I can fit in into the
Mhm.
team when I'm entered into the game, whenever that may be. And I just think that Fournier, like you said, he needs to be ready to execute at a high level and not come
Mhm.
and just stand in the corners. I didn't really see enough movement with him. And I don't wanna blame, "Oh, he didn't play, he hasn't played." Who cares? Just be ready for when your name gets called and they need
Cool.
to put you
Yeah,
in. If God forbid, we got 3 guys that's injured, major guys, be ready. And
be ready.
when your name gets called, do something when you out there. Don't
Mm,
just get in the game and you come in and, you giving us a lackluster effort. You're getting paid a lot of money that nobody wants to pick up what you getting paid. So I think that Evan Fournier needs to come in and really figure out and fine tune how he's going to be able to implement his game into the rest of his teammates who are already out there playing because you're not going to get any burn if you're doing what I saw yesterday. You're
yeah,
not.
no, no, that's true. I mean, you know, he saw yeah, and Fournier know the style of play. They play physical. And that's what they did with Washington. They played the physical game with them. They made Washington play the Knicks played their style. Like I always say when you dictate the game, you're gonna have success at it. And that's what the Knicks did. They packed the paint and those guys went to work. So you can't just, be able to create your shot. So Fournier can't just, always call for the ball. Like do something with it. But overall, I was still happy that, he was, able to get some runs. Or bet, he didn't do so well. Like I said, I don't know if it was nerves, jitters, or whatever, but overall, I'm glad that, he was, able to play. And quickly, I don't know if it was because he was at home, but like they say, quick was in his bag, and he had a bag of tricks. So, which was a plus. Maybe play at home more often. I don't know, but that was a nice contribution off the bench for sure. I'm happy for him. He was able to deliver. You know,
Yeah, I thought quickly to me so far, quickly to me, he's been very consistent so far this
consistent.
season. And I think it's
Yes.
because quickly is showing that he knows he's being shopped around and teams are looking at him. And it's not going to be hard for a team to pick up IQ.
No.
He's a really great player. He's young, he's energetic, he doesn't get injured like that. So I just think that for quickly, he's just proven that, he can be consistent and you give him the minutes. To me, and it's funny because him and Obi are really close friends, but I always thought quickly was the better player and
Oh
just
yeah, for
way more
sure.
consistent in his game. So I'm like, I was happy we got to keep him again. It sucks that the Knicks didn't give him the money that he was looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, he's been the most consistent and I'm liking what I'm seeing from quickly. As
Yeah.
far as team stats from yesterday's game, the Knicks were at 49% for field goal percentage. Washington was at 45. The Knicks were at 42% 3 points. Washington was at 31. The Knicks shot 70% from the free throw line. Washington shot 93. The Knicks still need to work on their free
Yeah.
throws. I don't understand why we can't knock down free throws. That's going to hurt them at the end of the day. It also hurt us last year in the playoffs when we couldn't knock down free throws,
Yep.
which was bizarre. Total rebounds, the Knicks have 48, Washington had 32. Knicks have 14 offensive rebounds, Washington only had 7. Defensive rebounds, the Knicks had 34, Washington had 25. Assists were pretty close. Knicks had 26, Washington had 25. The Knicks had 6 blocks, Washington had 4. The Knicks had 5 steals, Washington had 4. The Knicks had 10 turnovers, Washington had 14. I think the turnovers, like you said, the Knicks need to learn how to turn the ball over a lot less. To me, 10 is
Yeah,
still too
for
high.
sure. Yeah, for
Points in the
sure.
paint, Knicks had 40, Washington had 46, and personal fouls, Knicks had 21, and Washington had 8. So again, the Knicks sit now at 1-1 for the in-season tournament. You have the Bucks and the Heat leading both at 2-0. It's important that the Knicks win the next one, which is next Friday against the Miami Heat, which is going to be a really great game because how we left off last season against Miami. And
Mhm.
I mean, I truly believe, like I said, Jimmy wants that cash. He
Mm,
wants that bonus. And I think that they're proven that Miami is proven that because I think Miami has won their last, like, 7 games. So, Miami's basically
It's
proven,
okay.
like, that they're still a good team, and I think they're one of those teams that they're like that underdog team that you can't sleep on,
Yeah.
because if they were able to do it last year, I wouldn't put it past them this year. So,
Yeah.
they didn't have enough to go all the way to beat Denver, but they proved that they were able to knock everybody out of the East. Now the East is a different looking this year with Philly looking great. Milwaukee is looking great. You have Boston looking great, but I still wouldn't count Miami out. Something about their style of play and the way that they're coached, I think speaks volumes. So
Yeah.
I definitely have my eyes on them, and I'm definitely going to be tuned into that game next Friday because I want to see what the Knicks for sure are going to do. But before we get there, the Knicks do play this evening at 6 p.m. So a nice early matinee game against Charlotte. Charlotte will be looking for revenge as the Knicks just beat them most recently. Um, I think that this game the Knicks should be able to take. At least I'm hoping that the Knicks take this game and actually beat them because it's no reason why you should be losing to Charlotte Hornets, who are at 3-8. So come on, this is a game that you should be winning. Any thoughts on tonight's game, this evening game against the Charlotte
Well,
Hornets?
isn't the kid Miles? He's back tonight, right? Because I
Miles
think he was
Bridges.
official. Yeah, Miles Bridges. So I
Hmm.
know he was officially cleared to come back
He played their
Friday,
last game. Yeah.
which was yesterday. Um, all bet. You definitely gotta, you know, guard him. And just play. Pretend like he's a non-factor, although he will be. But the same style of play on when you played them Sunday at home, guess what? Mirror that, and we'll be fine. You know, don't again. No team is a sleeper. I have a lot of mantras and things. My thing is they put on their pants the same way you do, one leg at a time. So you can't sleep on them. Um, they're not gonna just roll over and let you take the game. You gotta go out there, command it, strike first, and again take care of the turnovers. And they're gonna want to run out of transition. To guard the perimeter. And I think that they should be fine. It's not. Uh, it's not gonna be given to you. You're gonna have to go out there and take it. So,
Yeah, I agree. The Knicks have to figure out how to guard LaMelo Ball a lot better.
oh
He did
yeah,
whatever he wanted to do, just like Brunson did whatever he wanted to do last night, but you can't allow that. I think whoever's going to be guarding him, you have to really tighten up. I think guys are going to have to be prepared because he loves to drive and kick the ball out.
yeah,
If he's not going to drive, and you got to be prepared to guard that perimeter 3-point shot because the Knicks still don't do that well. And we
yeah.
still have collapses on the defensive end.
Hmm.
Um, but I think that, you know, Bridges, you gotta watch out for him because he usually plays really well against the Knicks,
Oh
and
yeah,
he's another one that somehow, I don't know if Randall's gonna be guarding him, but I think that the Knicks need to be prepared to be physical. They need to, control the pace, move the ball, be aggressive on the boards,
yeah,
and the Knicks gotta continue to be aggressive. The Knicks gotta be, a lot more scrappy like that Miami team when we played them last season in the playoffs. I think that, when you're not aggressive and playing scrappy, teams walk all over you. But
yeah. Oh yeah, they do.
when you control the pace and don't let the team dictate your style of play, you're a lot more successful. So
Exactly.
I want to see the Knicks definitely control the pace tonight, move the ball. I want to see guys continue to move without the ball. I
Mhm.
want to see the Knicks pick up the pace a little bit more and be a threat on a defensive end. I want to see Mitch grab get if he can give us 15 boards tonight. and, other guys contribute and help out, whether that's Randall, Hart, DiVincenzo. These guys, even quickly, they're really good on the rebounding end and can help out and contribute on the rebounds. If you can, go after the steals, and let's get some easy fast break points. And if the Knicks do command the lead, I want to see them maintain the lead and not give it up, because Charlotte is one of those teams they can sneak back and pull away or get very close. So I think that, again, if Randall and Brunson are going to be locked in, we still don't have no word yet on Migraine RJ. And I
Nothing.
did,
Yeah, he's ruled out. I saw it.
yeah, weird. And then they also said Fournier's iffy for tonight, so most likely they're not going to play him and probably maybe play him on Monday against Minnesota. But yeah, I don't know. I this whole thing with RJ being out with migraines, and we're not really getting any insight as to what's going on is weird because, athletes have access to the best doctors, the best of the best. Not sure what's going on there because it'd be different if it was like, oh, it's his knee, oh, it's this. Like how Grimes, we know it's his hand. But
Yeah.
Grimes, I mean, it's Grimes. It's not RJ. It's two different players. I don't think people are really like, oh, where's Grimes? We're more like, yo,
Yeah.
where's RJ? When's he coming
Jay.
back? Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just want to see the Knicks handle business, win this game so you could get some rest. And Monday, you got to be prepared to take on the Timberwolves, who have been playing absolutely just, they've been playing really, really great this season. And,
Mhm.
but again, this is a team tonight against Charlotte. The Knicks should be winning this game. I got the Knicks winning this game. And yeah, I'll be
Mm.
tuned in to see what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm again. Don't take it lightly. Don't sleep on them. Just like you said, those pointers that you mentioned, and I think that they'll be fine, and it'd be good if they could just they'll be 3-1, on the road. That's a boost. If they could get this, that'll definitely be considering they've won the last 5 out of 6 games. So
Yeah,
if they could just continue that, that helps. Um,
exactly. And carry that momentum because and it helps you when you play the more elite teams, the
yeah.
the better teams within the NBA. And those are really those challenges that the Knicks should be, facing. I
Mhm.
think when you're playing your teams like your Washingtons, your Detroits. I think an Atlanta team is a better matchup for the Knicks because they're similar, teams, as far as,
Mhm.
like, records and, what they can do. But Charlotte is another team, you should be able to beat them. They've only won 3 games so far.
Yeah. Well,
This is a team you should beat, but don't allow them to come in and beat you. And it's important to also snag the wins on the road,
oh,
because
for
you have to
sure.
be able to beat teams in their home court. And, so yeah, we'll see what happens tonight, but I'll definitely be tuned in and see what goes on with the Knicks. But yeah, anything for you before we get out of here?
No, I just saw a little quick stat for IQ. They said he is Emmanuel quickly is tied for fourth for most 20
20
plus
point.
point games off
Mhm.
the bench by Nick. I mean, that's kudos to him. Congrats. Anytime we could get a positive, and I also saw something with Jalen Brunson. He's leading, on the 3-point attempts this season. He's at 47.5%. Steph is at 44.6. And Tyrese Maxey, he's at 43.3, and Doncic, he's at 42%. So, that's good, carryovers and carry us down, down the home stretch and things like that. So kudos out to them.
Yeah, I think IQ could reach that number one spot. I think it's John Starks. So
Wow.
that
Yeah.
I think it's at 54 games with 20 plus point games. So I think
Hmm.
IQ could totally reach that this season.
Oh
Like
yeah, for
quickly
sure.
is definitely he definitely could give you 20 a night. That's not, and we
Yeah.
talking off the bench.
Hmm.
So that's not a hard feat for him to be able to do.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
But I hope, with Grimes out, this shows Tibbs his options of what he can do because, like I said, I think that DiVincenzo's gonna show maybe you could start him. I mean, I
Mm,
get it that you wanna have your guys that you can bring in off the bench, so you have a balanced, bench that you're bringing in off the floor, but I think Grimes maybe needs to come off the bench. I think you either need to start Josh Hart or DiVincenzo.
yeah,
Mm.
maybe he needs to try that, but I guess he's more so looking for bigs, I guess to start. So, but you never know if Grimes continue, because his hand, we don't know. We don't know what's up with RJ. He may
Grimes is
try to,
taller than Josh Hart and DiVincenzo.
who Grimes?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying in general because he's out, so
Oh, oh.
he probably prefer Hart over DiVincenzo.
Yeah. I just
Um,
think it's a better fit, though. I think
yeah.
Grimes should come off the bench because to me, Hart and DiVincenzo, the scoring is a bit more consistent.
Mhm.
You need guys who could also help contribute towards the points. It can't fall on just Randall and Brunson every night. And when we do have RJ and RJ, you need quickly and at least one other guy who's going to help offset the scoring. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
You can't just have it rely on those 1 or 2 guys a night. You need
I
somebody,
agree.
another 2 guys, and Grimes
Mhm.
just doesn't give us the scoring that we need. I mean, 6 to 9 points is not gonna cut it, my man. We need a little bit
Yeah.
more from you than that. It's just not
Mhm.
enough. And then sometimes we don't even get 6 or 9 from Grimes. It may only be 3 points, So I think I get it. Grimes plays great defense, but I also need him to be an offensive presence as well. We already
Yeah.
have Mitch for the defense. I need you to be an offensive presence, and he's
Yeah.
just not that
Yeah.
for us. And I think the problem is like I was saying with Fournier, Grimes needs to be fed the ball. He hasn't
Yeah.
figured out how to create his own and shoot or drive because
Mhm.
Grimes doesn't even know how to drive.
He
DiVincenzo was
drives
doing no,
sometimes, not often. I know he don't, but
no. What I saw DiVincenzo and I've seen Hart do,
oh, yeah, for
I'm not
sure.
seeing Grimes doing that. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think Tibbs really needs to recalibrate and figure out what he's
yeah.
gonna do, and I think Grimes should seriously come off the bench.
Well, offensively, I feel that those 2 are better than Grimes, but you gotta
And
realize,
defensively.
defensively, and again, Grimes is known as a well, not known, but he I guess I don't wanna use the word known, I just I can't find a, alternative word, but he's known for his defense, and I think that's what, sets him apart from them. But offensively and defensively, to me, they both are a better, you know, player than Grimes. But hey, we're just, observers out the outside just looking in.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what changes, they make, and we'll see what the
Yeah,
Knicks do tonight,
yeah, for
and,
sure.
yeah, yeah, that's all for me today. You have anything else?
No, no, that's it for me.
Well, as you always say, let's go Knicks.
That's right.
Again, I
Let's
wanna
go
thank
Knicks.
everybody for tuning in to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will be back for post-game coverage against Charlotte tonight. Game starts at 6 p.m. As always, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave us a comment, and we'll see everybody next episode. Peace.
Peace.